Welcome to Season 2 of Path of the Brush. Let's sling some paint. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Season 2 Path of the Brush, the penultimate episode, which is pretty exciting. I'm your host, Rick. Today, we're going to be looking at a game that I saw at PAX Unplugged. So I was walking around PAX Unplugged, and I was like, let's see if there's any miniatures that would be fun to paint into the final a couple episodes. And I came across Lucky Duck's booth. So they had this game, and a lot of people were standing around, hem-hawing around it, talking, hyping it up. And I was like, well, what is it? And it's called Senjutsu. I hope I said that right and didn't like butcher it. It's a Battle for Japan, and it has miniatures. And I was like, I just got done watching Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix, not sponsored by Netflix. And I was like super enthralled. I've always had a fascination with Japanese culture. While in the military, I had the opportunity to go to Japan and Okinawa and enjoy the culture. And it was very interesting that everything that goes on over there, how much differences there are between the Japanese culture and ours. But I've always gravitated towards the samurai. I don't want to say mythos because it's real. It happened. But the samurai culture that existed, the Bushido way, however you want to say it. But I love the miniatures that they have, so we're going to paint some of those. And if anybody knows anything about Japanese culture or has any questions, we'll look them all up as best as we can. Big shout out to Will and to Mark in the background. They're waving at the cameras that aren't in front of them, which is great. Oh, there they are. What's that, guys? And big shout out to everybody watching. We appreciate you all. And let's get to it. Today I'm going to be using, as always, some of the Army Painter Speed Paints 2.0. And I think I want to start with this one here, who isn't necessarily dressed fully in like this guy is fully garbed out in samurai attire with a banner, and I don't know what the weapon is that he's carrying here. It's definitely not like a samurai sword. It's the pole arm um, with the longer blade on the end. It's super cool. This a what? Naginata. Very cool. And then you have this individual here who looks like he's like standing in like a sand like where they would rake the sand to make the different like a zen kind of thing. This one's on wooden floorboards, and then this one's on like a cobblestone or brick stoned walkway. But this one right here is right on a battlefield. It's got arrows in it and stuff. It's cool. Anyways, all right. So we're gonna use our um, Army Painter Speed Paints 2.0, and I'm going to be using Peachy Flesh. Will be the first paint I use, and it's going to go on this individual shoulder, which is fully exposed. It can be shaken, not stirred. All right, hold on. There we go. All right, here we go. And Senjutsu, I haven't played it yet. I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to play it until it's painted because it's got like these little like hexagons that have like bamboo on it, some wagons, and there's some female characters as well. So there's a lot going on in the box. If anybody has played this game, please say something in the chat. That would be really cool. And tell us a little bit about it. All right. So we're going to hit this cat's shoulder. Now, looking at these miniatures, the only prep I did to them is I just primed them. But there are some mold lines that you might want to go back and maybe touch up a little bit. I see one right here on his shoulder. And I like this like look here where he's taken his outfit and kind of removed it off one shoulder to maybe give him ease of movement. He looks great. And also, if anybody else has watched Blue-Eyed Samurai. Please tell me your thoughts. Did either of you two watch it, Will or Mark? So Will says that he has watched it,
I did, and I loved it dearly.
right? The soundtrack in like the sixth episode, I think it was, fifth or sixth episode, was sick.
They kept surprising me with the soundtrack. They every once in a while they drop something that just it was perfect. It was pitch perfect for the moment, but not something you'd expect out of a samurai drama.
Right. I feel like that one episode, all the music was Metallica.
Felt like it, yeah.
Yeah,
And we were just discussing before this show how Senjutsu is also the name of an Iron Maiden album.
nice. I was listening to you and Mark talk about it, but then I just realized, oh, you're talking about music, and I was like, eh.
Did you enjoy the choreography, like the fight choreography, as much as I did? That was
Oh,
really good.
yeah, it was so good. I think that whoever the animation studio that took on that project, uh, they hit it out of the park. So,
Oh my, yes, yeah. There was lots of subtle nods to Aikido,
mhm,
and just yeah, the techniques in there that they used were truly impressive. A lot of them were. There was
mhm.
some very anime,
Oh
like
yeah,
magical nonsense too. But the, oh, I have nothing but praise for that show.
yeah. All right, so there we go. Put the flesh on there, and I think that looks pretty good. I want to check out what they have on the box for what kind of color scheme they use with this character, uh, or I'm just going to go with my own, which is usually the case, right? They don't have anything. Let's see if this card or this character has his own card, and if so, maybe that'll give us some good art reference. So it comes with a rule book, a solo campaign book. That's super cool. Bunch of punch outs, one of them being like a cherry blossom tree, which is very thematic. And they have some punch out guards. And okay, here are um, the cards here. Let's see what they've got. There's a
Th-
ton.
Does it say what era that's supposed to be from?
Let's take a peek. That's a great question. Yeah, oh, this is like a comic book too. Path of the Ronin, which is So I'm guessing what I'm painting is the Ronin. Okay, it's like a little comic book. Check that out. That's cool.
Blurry. Yeah. Oh, that's really nice.
And it's a silent comic in that I don't see any. There's no like dialogue being lettered in on any of the pages, which is also very interesting.
That'll be perfect for you.
Yeah, as long as I don't have to read words. Whoa,
Did I see hex maps inside the comic?
you did, yeah. So it's got scenarios. This is Fortress Siege, and okay, fine. Fortress Siege has its own scenario. So here's the fortress entrance. So your character's going to be up in here, probably fighting those guardsmen and such. And then it folds out, I believe. Yeah. Oh no. It shows another. Maybe it's one of the punch outs, but it shows on here also like where the gate is, then a bridge. Right. And I think that's one of the punch outs is that bridge. So that's kind of neat that the book and some of the punch outs like lay together to create a larger scenario spot. Oh, here's a boat scene with on an icy way. That's cool. Man, give me a good shot of the Ronin.
And,
Nope.
and they lace that in with the comic too, so
Yeah.
you get see
There's
some.
a cherry blossom. Cherry tree. And here's some more. Yeah. So the story reads through the scenarios. There we go. All right. So yeah, I am working on the Ronin. Um, and so I will go with the greens that they show here. And that'll look cool. I'm going to set that off there. Nice. Samurai.
That's got to be Sengoku period.
You're saying words that I don't understand.
The Sengoku period was the Warring States period of Japan, like the
Okay.
most famous for samurai period
Okay.
in Japan. Like the Sengoku history is truly fascinating. There's some wild stories, and like if you ever read the book Shogun or watched the movie,
With Richard Chamberlain?
was Richard Chamberlain in that? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's those are based off of events that occurred during Tokugawa's rise to power.
That would have been the 1600s.
Yes,
Okay.
the at the tail end of the Sengoku period, the Warring States.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got some details of some of these models as well. I'm going to throw up here.
Okay.
Here's the Ronin.
That's the Ronin?
He's got the little horn things on his mask there.
Oh. I thought the guy here with his shoulder exposed was the Ronin.
That's just a fashion statement, I think.
Okay.
That's how they're doing it now, off the shoulder.
Mm.
But here's some more in no particular order.
Yeah, those are the 4 in the core box.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of expansions. I just was like, no, I'll just get the core. Give it a shot.
Those bases do look amazing, though.
Right?
That guy that you're painting right now, Rick,
Yes.
is just giving me Kurosawa movie vibes.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
There's another one. There's a little dog. Is that a chow?
So that's from an expansion pack.
Yeah, I've got a few of the expansions that you can check out here. It's kind of got the throwing knives, it looks like.
Nice.
So we got the bow staff and the katana.
I also like the fact that they have, like, all the bases have these little arrows on them to show the direction of movement, I'm guessing. Right? So that's kind of cool. These arrows are sick.
It's like, yeah, if it's got a facing, then you know there's backstabbing and there's
Oh, yeah.
ninjas.
Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah. But yeah, if there's backstabbing, I feel like there was some ninja kits. So,
Yeah, here's the ninja. Looks like the classic.
yes. So good.
With the chain, that would be a kusarigama, but the akama is just a single sickle.
Is that in his left?
Yeah. I was a massive weeb, so I can tell you the names of all of these things.
Nice. I feel like there was a time when I could as well, back in the 80s, when I literally read and collected every black belt magazine that was ever published in that time frame.
And Ninja Magazine?
I don't know if I had access to Ninja. I knew I could get black belts.
It was all in the same rack, but
Yeah.
I was one of those like bear claw hands you could get. Like, I need these to climb a tree. My mom's like, "You're not getting those, Mark. Not getting those." Well, they got the foot things too. We get the foot spikes. I'm like,
Yeah.
we need that.
Yeah, I wanted those so bad, and I realized I just get stuck to a tree.
Why would they deny you your youth entertainment, right? Dang it.
Did get a set of ninja stars though. They had like etched dragons in them, you know.
So those meant they were legit.
Those were legit, yeah.
Have you all watched Ninja Assassin?
If it's got ninja in the title, I've probably watched it.
So it's a more modern take on a ninja movie. It's got Sho Kosugi, who is he's been in like every ninja movie ever made in the 80s, but in this one he's like the leader of the ninjas that the main character was trained with, and there's like 7 different ninja clans, and they all have their own abilities, but you only get to see the one. And the main character is actually, I think he's Korean, and he's a pop singer called Rain. That the throwing star scenes in those are ridiculous. It's like watching someone take Shinobi the video game and just being like, oh, we're gonna throw stars like Shinobi throws stars, and it's like crazy.
Yeah, that was a fun movie.
Yeah,
I saw that in the theater with my buddy Biff, my ninja movie buddy.
nice.
Here it is quick.
What's that? Oh yeah, so good. So, what was the first like like Japanese samurai movie you ever watched?
Legitimate samurai movie?
Or let's say not movie. Let's say what's the first like pop culture themed Japanese shogun kind of content that you partook in?
And Star Wars doesn't count, even though it was all stolen from Akira Kurosawa.
I would say Star Wars does not count. Yeah.
I think Shogun, just because I knew that was a word that was related.
Did that come out in like the early 80s?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not. It's a good political thriller, but it's not a good samurai movie.
No. I think mine that I read actually that I thought was really good was Lone Wolf and Cub. That was really good.
I didn't get to read those until I was in my early 30s, and I wished I had started sooner. Man, that's a good story.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh wow. As I'm looking at this character's like details, on their feet they have the flat wooden shoes with the two like risers underneath. They're flat sandals. I'm sure you know what they're called, Will. If anybody in the chat knows what they're called, let us know. It's so good. Geita? Okay.
Yeah, Geta, Geta.
Geta. All right. What were those the hand claws and foot claw things called? Do you remember those, Mark? You said you wanted them as a kid.
Yeah, I can't pull it out of the air. Let me look it up real
No
quick.
worries. I know that the boots with the split toe on the big toe are called tabi boots. Tabi.
Those you can get Tabi socks as well.
Yeah.
They're super comfy.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right, so he's got a bluish like wrap as well on his outfit here.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, just ninja Tekagagi. Yeah, hand claws.
Okay. In that movie, A Ninja Assassin, someone meets their end on the opposite end of those spikes. It's like, God dang.
They call them also Shuko hand claws.
Shuko.
Which is interesting. Christmas is coming up. I think I need them.
Now that I'm reliving my youth, I need these. Heck yeah.
I'm gonna toss a couple more of these miniatures up for folks to see.
Cool.
They got a guy here that looks like a cavalry type person. He's got a pistol.
What?
Brandishing a pistol and some sort of sword. Yeah.
Oh, that looks like it was probably a Dutchman or some European person that would come in, because during that same, I think that's the same kind of era as Blue Eye Samurai.
Yeah, Sengoku was happening during that period.
And so, they outlawed any foreigners from coming onto the Japanese mainland to trade in their goods, which was like one of the beginnings of the whole arms races, right? Because they wanted to sell firearms to Japan.
And that's how Nobunaga became such a great threat, because he was okay with it.
Yeah. It's so wild. And it's like a big story piece to the Blue-Eyed Samurai movie or series. It's the whole infiltration and dealings with the Europeans.
Yeah, that's kind of after the Tokugawa took over, I think. Because once the Tokugawa took over, they closed the ports. If Nobunaga would have won, they would have been trading firearms all day.
Right. Yeah, it's wild. I actually feel like I want to watch it again. I saw that today they announced that season 2 was greenlit. So
I think it's in the running for like best animation in 2023, which it deserves.
oh yeah. I mean, it is so good. And the voice acting was on point. I mean, it was just a well-produced series. And it wasn't like a big shocker, the big reveal for anybody that hasn't watched it. Spoilers. The main character, it isn't a big like oh my god, really? Right. The minute they spoke, I was like, nice.
It was more of a countdown, really.
Agreed. Yeah.
I gotta watch it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. It's so good. And some of the little like plot twists that they did throw in there were really nice too.
Yeah, it continued to impress. Just as they kept adding layers to the cake, it just got getting tastier.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite scenes is when the 4 assassins are sent and they get handled pretty well. I'm like, yikes. And these were supposed to be like the best assassins. So it was so good. All right. I'm going to use some magic blue on that sash that's around the waist of this character. I think I'm going to use a different brush here. I'm going to go down to the fine nylon here.
I'm trying to remember the name of the lady character in that who was handling like the castle intrigue, but that was really fascinating too. They handled that well.
Yeah, again, there were multiple levels of interest in the overall story arc that wasn't just about the blue-eyed samurai. There was the political intrigue that was going on with the marriages and getting married for position of power to make your family better, again, better positioned for stuff. It was just, man, it was so good. And then you have the underlying arc of like companionship and friendships as well that the main character does not want any part of, but ends up being like, fine. I also like the fact that some of the dialogue is just one word. And in that one word's delivery, it speaks volumes to what is happening in that moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Did we talk about George Takei's in this?
He is in it. Yeah, George Takei is like a mentor-like character to a female main character, and almost to the point where he's the father figure.
Oh my, really?
Oh my. Yeah, and what's interesting is, I mean, it's him. As soon as he starts talking, that's George Takei, but it's not as accentuated in that, how he has that very deep voice.
Yeah, he really does the deep voice. Yeah.
It's not so accentuated in the characters' articulation and delivery of the lines that they're reading, but it's him just based on the years that we've been exposed to his speech. So
yeah, he's not trying to sell you George Takei. He's trying to sell you that character.
Yeah,
which is great.
We forget he can act sometimes, right? Yeah. He's got such a persona. Blade the Immortal was the one that of like comic style, manga that it was. Yeah, that I read. I mean, like Seven Samurai and stuff like that, but it was like, well, like some of the black and white ones was harder to get into. I was, I think we talked last episode more kung fu stuff. But yeah, I think that Blade the Immortal was something that got me into it. Really enjoyed it.
Nice.
That was beautifully drawn. I
Mhm.
was deeply in love with that guy's style.
Yeah, there's so much good content out there that just really highlights the culture, and a lot of it in very positive ways. Granted, there was a lot of violence and a lot of um, probably atrocities that occurred during those time frames, but there's also a lot of beauty, right? Beauty in form, beauty in speech, and all that. So yeah, it just makes for really good stuff.
Remember The Last Samurai with
I
the
did. Was it Tom Cruise?
yeah, that
Mhm.
actually was pretty good. I saw it in
It
theater
was.
and better than I thought it was going to be.
One of my favorite parts of that movie is when he's talking to the actor who is the shogun or the samurai, right? And he's talking about, and he says that a man could spend his entire life looking for the perfect cherry blossom or flower or whatever, and it would be a life well spent. And in the end, when he says they're all beautiful, I was like, oh, so good. What a great line.
And when he's doing that was the one where the female character and that was like doing the tradition of making the tea, right?
Hmm.
The certain way and just everything rooted in tradition. It's
Yeah,
pretty elegant and just in that, right?
100%.
100%.
I think that's one of the
I
things I
think that's
like
one
about
of
the
the
culture is there's a level of artistry and elegance in pretty much everything they did and do, right? So,
One of my favorite foods is sushi, and yeah, it crosses multiple cultures as well. But
yeah.
yeah.
Sushi,
Sushi, however,
however, if it has shellfish, will kill me. So,
we won't take it to get sushi, I guess. There's a reason we haven't eaten sushi together.
correct.
Love a
Yes.
good hibachi steakhouse, especially when they put on a show. Those are great.
Yes.
Those are great.
Agreed. Yeah,
yeah,
these
these
are
are
really nice miniatures, and it almost sucks. Is like I know that I like to paint, and that for everybody that's watching, when it comes to painting my miniatures, I always talk about painting for 3 feet away, right? Where the miniature is going to be. I'm not playing with it in my face, so I don't really care about certain like minor flaws, but I kind of do with this one. I don't want it to be just a good looking miniature at 3 feet away. I want it to be a good looking miniature even up close. So I'm like torn a little bit into how I want to paint this miniature. But I'm getting it done pretty fast, which means we're gonna absolutely be able to move on to another one. I kind of feel like the one with the flag with the banner on his back is pretty cool. And I don't do a lot of freehand, but that banner needs some freehand drawing on it. So
I don't freehand often, but when I do, it's on Path of the Brush, right?
that's right. That's that's right.
The most interesting painter in the room.
Nice. That's right. Paint on painters. That's right. So good.
Did you get a chance to look at any of the how the cards interact? I'm pulling it up now. It looks fairly
It's interesting
simple.
that it's interesting in that it doesn't look like it takes up a lot of real estate on your table to play
Mhm.
this game. Um, I feel like this is one of those ones that we need to put on the table at the store and let people just kind of like check it out. And I want to play it, and I think with the three of us should play it and record it, and then be like, "Yep, Rick lost."
No, it's interesting. I wonder if it has expansions to that, you know,
Mm. Well,
middle board era.
it definitely has a lot of expansions. I counted at least 6 when I was at the show.
Yeah, you brought up a bunch of slides for him. I saw there was like a ninja one. And it looked like there was a peasant kind of militia one.
And there's the cavalry one, right? I think you said that.
Yeah, that one guy there.
Yeah.
Let me pull up a couple more.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good options, I think, in the game.
I love the names. The wolf at the door. I didn't see a baby carriage though.
Right? No baby carriage, no what's the other thing? When the wolf's at the door, I feel like there would also be the what is it? The cabbage man from Avatar. My
Carriages.
It says the average playtime is 20 minutes, so you can definitely get some games in.
Yeah.
It says the minimum player 1 and then up to 4.
Okay. I think when you're playing the 4-player version, you're definitely each taking on a character of one of these 4 samurai. And then the solo ones, I think you could probably do it with any one individual character and go through the solo mode.
And then that follows the book, I'm guessing, a little bit more. That's kind of a...
Yeah, probably so.
Do you have copies of it at the store?
Nope. I just grabbed the one.
Okay.
I wanted to see how it looked and put it together. And if people want it, I'll just order it in.
Probably know somebody's going to want it ordered.
Yeah. Mark. Just so we can get the hand claws and the foot claws. If I can't wear them, my character can.
Just hang them on the wall behind me and,
Right?
Double down.
Yeah, this is great. I'm really digging this whole thing. And again, it didn't hurt that Blue-Eyed Samurai just came out and kind of put my headspace into the whole like, oh, I remember. I love this stuff. So, all right, so this guy has a beard and mustache. So we're going to try to get that put onto this face here. I feel like I may need to grab a more delicate brush to make it happen, but we'll give it a shot here. Wow. Yeah, it's coming along, I think. Ooh. Again, wonderful thing about painting miniatures is once they dry, you can just paint over your little mistakes there. All right. And again, at 3 feet away, that's going to look great. Yeah. I'm digging it. I'm loving it. Yeah. I'm going to take some leather and put it on the, he's got some arm straps here and also on the hilt or the handle of the sword. And then he has on the artwork, it looks like gold or bronzish parts. I think what's the locking handle piece where the blade and the hilt come together, that the guard, but they have a specific name.
It's the Tsuba, Tsuba, I believe that is.
Tsuba. Yes.
Will, you were made for this episode.
You really were.
I really was. And it doesn't hurt that my wife, after we got done doing karate together, she got into Iaido, which is the art of drawing your sword and killing someone as it exits the sheath and then putting it back. And as we had an Iaido teacher here in East Lansing who was astonishing. He was an incredible talent. There's Steven
Seagal?
No, not that guy.
He's from Lansing.
True, but not that guy.
Isn't that Hapkido?
He did Aikido.
Yeah.
Hapkido is a mix of Korean martial arts and Aikido.
Oh, okay, Aikido.
Yeah. My
translates roughly to the art of breaking your arm, I believe.
yeah, like I
Was
twisted
that
your
his-
finger and now you belong to me. You're my
Was
puppet.
it? Yeah, that was his signature move, right?
If you ever had anybody who's good at Aikido shake your hand and then you realize like now they control your entire body, there's some truth to that.
Nice. All right. So now I'm just going to put those little bronze bits on here, and then I'm going to uh, put little bit more detail on the feet. And I think this miniature is going to be done. Then I'll go on to the next miniature. So let's see, what metallic am I going to use?
There was a period where the biggest Wikipedia trap I ever fell in is a website called samuraihistory.com,
Okay.
which just goes through all the families during the Sengoku period, the story, like all how they all interweave,
Right.
and detail like Hattori Hanzo. I'm sure you've heard that name.
Hanzo, the sword maker.
Yeah, he was a real guy.
Yeah.
And his story is just wild. It's
bet.
just crazy. Yeah. And there's so many, like the names of all those samurais and what they did during those periods. Truly fascinating. Really, it'll make a history buff out of you if you start looking into it. It's really cool.
Nice. So I'm using bronze on the metallic bits on the sword's handle, and then on there's a couple little bands on the near the base of it here. Just get that nice little line on there. Doesn't have to be heavy. Very calm. Very ASMR. Very Path of the Brush. All right. Now a little bit of leather on the boots or the sandals here. Do it on the other foot. There we go. And then finally, I'm going to do another pass of the black over the hair. Right over the forehead there. And then this, again, this facing marker, I'm going to make black. I'm going to do the racing line across the edge of the base, which for me will indicate I have completed my miniature. There we go. The facing marker is done. And now we'll do the edge of the base. It's probably going to take a couple coats actually to facilitate a good coverage on that. And then we'll move on to the next miniature. I kind of feel like whoever's watching should be voting on which one I paint next in today's episode. That was pretty fast.
It was good. That was the shortest Path of the Brush episode ever. Well, everybody, we'll see you next week.
No,
oh, sorry.
I'm saying as far as a completed miniature, that was fast.
Yeah, we barely got to Thundara clock.
I know, we're not there yet. Soon. It makes me wonder is like what I mean, now that you bring it up, is what it was like 2,000 years after a planet from outer space collided between the Earth and the Moon, what it was like in Japan, because we know what it was like on the Isle of Manhattan, right? At least that's where Thundar fought one of his major battles against the forces of evil, where him and Ukla and Ariel did their ride.
Did you say Manhattan?
Yeah, so the signage, we must go to the Isle of Manhattan, because the signage is all messed up, so you can only read those few letters.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. it's one of the things I loved about the whole Thundar thing is it kind of had a Planet of the Apes vibe in regards to like just the apocalyptic mess that was left, but how they really leaned into the silliness of the Isle of Manhattan and um, the Rat King and all that stuff. So
Where does it stream right now? Where can you watch it?
shoot, I probably YouTube, and I can't think of any place else that might currently have it on streaming services. Just doing a couple touch-ups here. There we go. All right. So he's done. I'm going to let him dry for a minute, then we'll show him off. Let's go to anybody watching want to make a decision? Do we do this freaking bad A? This freaking bad A. Look at that. Oh, he's got flowers on his. He's the Shogun. He's got to be the Shogun with that level of detail and finery. Oh, he also has it here too. Dang it. Could be anyone.
It's that guy.
All right. Let's take a look inside our book here. See if we can find. So we've got. We got this guy who's just in red armor. Yeah. Where are you? Okay, so there he is. That's one with the banner on the back. That looks pretty cool. It's got a lot of different color options.
I believe that one is the Shogun.
Really?
Yeah, based off the one.
Okay.
He wouldn't wear any armor and get into a fight. That's not his job.
Yeah, that's a good looking piece. All right, we're gonna look at that and see what we can do with it. It looks like the banner is in some sort of yellow, but I want to do looking at the armor bits here. It looks like there's like a red undertone and then blue on his arms, and there's like a vesty piece of cloth that's also got a light blue. All right, so a light red. We'll go with Carmine Dragon as our red, and I kind of feel like if I just do the undercoating of the majority of the armor bits in this Carmine Dragon, it'll hit the red as necessary. Then we'll come back and we'll do the other bits in their blues and highlight out the yellows and such. So
yeah, that'll be a good pick.
Yeah. Again, these are those characters like when you see them, you're like, those guys, I wouldn't want to mess with them. And then in this movies or something, they're the ones that are like a mid boss, right? And give all sorts of trouble to your hero, if you will.
They actually have a name. They're not just a mook.
Right. Yeah. They are a named baddie. Or there's someone that you met earlier in the film or the story that isn't wearing all the armor, and they're already like an antagonist to our hero, and they have bad blood, and then when they meet on the field of battle, they have their mask off and then they put it back on, like now it's on. Like, yeah, boy.
You know who you're actually fighting, you know.
Yeah.
It's interesting as I'm kind of looking up these samurai movies, you know, for reference. The ones that come up as samurai, they're still there if you Google samurai cinema thrillers, but it pops up stuff like John Wick even. So it's
Really?
like the modern samurai, you know, or like, you know, Kill Bill's in there. Even that Pathfinder movie we talked about is in there, which is interesting. Unforgiven as a Western is in there, which I wouldn't think of as, but
It's
think about it.
It's based off of a Kurosawa film.
It's wild. All right, there we go. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to do the highlights and raises on this because there's a base of a red, and then all these little plates are golden. Right. So what you see is what you might think as a quilted pattern on this is actually little golden plates connected by like leather straps. So that's going to be an interesting paint.
Good thing you're using your nylon brush,
My nylon.
as you called it earlier.
Yeah, well, it looked like it was Nelon. I was like, Nellon, that doesn't seem right.
Fragile.
Fragile.
Yeah.
And my fragile brush.
'Tis the season.
Yeah. Don't try to class it up, dirt.
So it's technically 12 days till Christmas.
Is it really?
Yeah, so you can sing the song. So I tried to sing the 12 Days of Christmas to my daughter last night.
Yeah.
And I got to like, the whole 5 golden rings. And then I fell apart after. I had to look up the lyrics.
And then I fell apart.
Yeah.
Had to look up lyrics.
Do you know them? Do you know the six?
After 5 golden rings, 6 swans a swimming, 7 lords a leaping, or no, 11 lords a leaping, 7. Hold on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree, 2 turtle doves, 3 French hens, 4 mockingbirds, 5 golden rings.
Keep going down.
Oh, is it a countdown?
Yeah, you got to start at the
Top and move
It
back.
starts low and you work your way up, but it ends up being count.
I don't know, and I don't think people want to hear me sing as much melody as I can, muster.
All right, we're not gonna sing this out, but I think it was
All right.
say what they are.
Okay.
Hold on here.
So 12 what?
All right. So,
Maids milking?
Lords of Leaping.
there's 12 drummers drumming,
Oh.
Drummers drumming.
11 pipers piping,
Pipers piping.
10 lords a leaping,
10 lords a leaping.
Maids of milking.
9 ladies dancing,
Mm-hmm.
8 maids of milking. I don't know. I laughed during that one.
Nice.
7 swans a swimming.
All right.
6 geese a laying.
Geese a laying.
Yeah. And then it's your 5 golden rings, right? And then 4 calling birds. That was
4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
and 2 turtle doves,
and a partridge in a pear tree. So like,
there's a lot of fowl in this.
there's a lot of fowl. There's a couple dudes, a lot of ladies.
Yeah.
Pipers could be,
Anything.
yeah, any gender.
Yeah.
Non-binary.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, it's very tough, and I messed it up every time I sang. But I was like,
This person's true love gave them a whole lot of people as a present.
Yeah. That's weird. What were they thinking?
It was a simpler time,
Sure.
But anyways, I digress.
Speaking of movies, though, I've watched it 3 times in the last 2 days. Princess Bride.
I love it. That's one of my favorite flicks.
It's so good.
It's a really good book too.
By L. Ron Hubbard.
First, right?
Yeah.
Hello, what's up, Nos? The 13 Days of Christmas or 12 Days of Christmas. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome.
How you doing? They do have some Princess Bride magic cards now. Have you seen this?
I have.
Magic the Gathering, like the special. I was not a Magic player, but I bought some for the Lord of the Rings, and that led into buying other cards. But I saw those, and I was like, oh, I kind of need those for what? Nothing, but that's a great movie. There's a board game I've not played yet. Have you played the board game?
I have. It's by River Horse Publishing, and it's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, and it has miniatures, which is also pretty cool.
It is nice.
Yeah. But speaking of board games, the publisher of this one that we're painting here, Senjutsu, is called Lucky Duck Games. They are a company, I believe they're out of Poland. and they have some really fun games. One of them, ones that I think a lot of people would know, is a game called Destinies or Destiny, and it's worth taking a look at and trying out. A lot of their games are actually app assisted, which is also kind of a neat thing as well, where you set up the game, you launch the app, and it helps guide you through the gameplay and provides you with hints and clues based on which game you might be playing, and depending where you're at in the play. Because they also do some Sherlock Holmes type games featuring the BBC Sherlock version with Cumberbatch. Yeah,
The old Cumberbatch.
that's right.
Did you say that?
And he also has his sidekick, Watson, right? He was Bilbo, right?
Correct. It is what is that guy's name? That actor's name? Short white guy.
He's got a really filthy mouth when he's off camera. That's one thing I love about him.
Yeah, he flips people off all the time. Did you find his name?
I didn't even start looking. Let me get on it. Hold on.
What?
I thought Will was all over that. I was giving a little love to our LuckyDuckGames.com.
Ah, very nice. Yeah, they have lots of great games. Martin Freeman. Dang it. I should have guessed. But yeah, he's a good actor. I loved it. A lot of the scenes where they show him from the Hobbit series, and they're like, he's flipping people off. So funny.
Also in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the
Was he?
Galaxy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was not Ford. He was oh dang it. Why can't I remember his name?
I know that he's agent. He's one of the agents in the Marvel Universe as well.
Arthur Dent.
Arthur Dent.
That's from
Hitchhiker's Guide.
Hitchhiker's Guide. Arthur Dent. Okay.
You got
Who's the guy from Batman? Who's Two-Face?
Who's Two-Face in Batman?
Yeah, what's his?
Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent. He's his cousin. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Loosely related.
Loosely.
12 pack of Bud, 11 wrestling tickets, 10 a Copenhagen, 9 years probation, 8 table dancers, 7 packs of Redmond, 6 cans of Spam, 5 flannel shirts. Thank you. 4 Big Mud tires, 3 shotgun shells, 2 hunting dogs, and some parts to a Mustang GT.
What is this? The 13 Days of Christmas?
The redneck.
The redneck. Yeah, that's the only version of the 13 days that I remember. That's hilarious.
Nice.
Super funny.
What else popped up? I was singing Jingle Bells, the classic Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, Robin laid an egg, Batmobile lost a wheel, and the Joker got away. And I was like,
how does he always get away?
Classic.
Man, it's so weird. Why would Batman continually let him get away?
What's
right? I think Batman isn't Batman without having his favorite villain available to constantly chase.
Sounds like some Dogma.
Agreed. All right, so I'm using magic blue on these blue bits that are represented in the imagery here. It's super nice. It's such a great model.
To be fair, all that Batman has ever told me was, "I am Batman."
I'm Batman. Yeah, he's kind of like a one-trick pony, right? My favorite iteration, because again, Batman was trained by the League of Assassins, ninjas, samurai, right? It all
Why
links
is
back.
he onto this list? Why, there's a Scooby-Doo apparently movie. Have you seen this?
Yeah. Where Batman and Scooby-Doo have a crossover?
No, just it came up
samurai
as samurai movies, and there's a new Scooby-Doo one.
What?
Yeah, let me look this up.
That makes no sense. Until you show it, and then it'll make perfect sense. And we'll all be like, what?
Yeah,
Shaggy
It's called-
commits seppuku.
it's Scooby Doo and the Samurai Sword, the original movie. Not to be confused with, and it looks like there's samurai ghosts that they go up against.
Mm. Okay.
Classic.
Classic. But I was saying something about Batman and League of Assassins. Yeah, it all circles around. And I do like some Batman. He's awesome. What a great character. Oh, I was going to say is my favorite version right now of Batman, though. A lot of people say that the animated series is their favorite version with Kevin Conrad as a voice. And Kevin Conrad is a great version of Batman, don't get me wrong. But my favorite version right now is the one from the Harley Quinn animated series on HBO Max. That Batman is amazing.
Haven't seen that one yet.
Amazingly hilarious.
Have to watch it.
It's so funny how they portray him as this like spoiled rich kid. I don't want to take a nap. I'm Batman. Well, Master Bruce, here's your warm tea, and maybe this will help calm your nerves. I don't want to calm my nerves. I want to fight crime.
When you said he was a one-trick pony, I was thinking that maybe his parents should have taught him another trick.
Dun, 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 dun. And that, ladies and gentlemen, so good. So I'm hoping that we'll have a guest next week. I'm not sure. They haven't responded back with they said they had to think about it. But if they do, we will announce it earlier than we normally put something out in regards to this. But fingers crossed that they say yes. If not, I do have a backup potentially. So it'll be interesting to end the season with either one of these two individuals. So I don't want to like spoil it for anybody, but I can tell you that they are both heavily heavily involved in the Dungeons and Dragons universe. So yeah, so I'm just putting the bases down. The red is obviously going to be kind of shadowed over by these gold plates that are on there. This is a very detailed model compared to the last one. So hopefully we'll get her going well, and it'll look good after it's all said and done.
So apparently you can download all the seasons, all 2 of them, of Thundar the Barbarian on Prime for $15.
What, for $15?
Standard def.
You know what that means? This is Amazon Prime?
You're gonna have a little binge tonight, huh?
Nope. I'm going to download it, put it so that it's always available, and we will watch it at the store. It'll be just up on the TV at the store, and people can come in and go, "What is that?" And I'll be like, "It's Didn't you know that in 1994, from outer space, a runaway planet collided between the Earth and Moon, unleashing cosmic destruction? Man's civilization was destroyed, cast in ruins. 2,000 years later, the world is reborn, a strange new world filled with savagery, sorcery, and super science. But one man breaks his bonds to fight for freedom with his companions Ukla the Mock and Princess Ariel. He fights for justice, using only his strength, his courage, and his fabulous sun sword. He is Thundar the Barbarian. So good. Oh, yeah. Super 70s and hot. Ukla the Mock. Not a Wookiee. He is a cat person. Princess Ariel? So I actually believe that the story of Thundar is really the story of Princess Ariel. In that she defies her father, who is this like techno sorcerer bad guy, to go save this guy to escape her father's reign of terror. Gives up. She's the one who gives Thundar the Sun Sword because that was her dad's weapon. So it's really her story.
I'm gonna have to also download this.
Or we could do a paint night at the store.
How long are each episode? You think? 20 minutes?
Yeah, and then
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
they kept it pretty close to that every episode. 20 minutes.
Came out in 1980, my birth year.
What?
Would we need to get a banner for the night that calls it the Church of Thundar?
Yes. Yep. The Church of Manhattan. That would be perfect.
Asterisk, not a cult.
Not a cult. Just a bunch of fans of Thundar the Barbarian. And for those watching that are wondering, like, why are they talking about Thundar the Barbarian? Thundar the Barbarian is the intellectual property in which I would most like to actually make or create more content for. A board game, a card game, a role-playing game, revamping the entire animated series, comic books, literally everything, and bring them back. I have his action figure out on the shelf out front. So good. Oh, it's a Jeff Foxworthy thing. Leroy the Redneck Reindeer is a cute song. I wonder why they asterisk out redneck. Is that offensive to some people? I'm guessing it must be. I also like Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer. Yep. That's a very Youper song.
Oh, that was a quality song. I remember it being on MTV as well. They had a little video or whatever.
Yeah.
Leaving Grandma's house just the other day.
What? All right. This one is going to require, once all the bases are done, a lot more detail work to really get in and do the job. So I'm going to set this one to the side for a bit, let it dry, and I'm going to show you the one we did at the beginning of the episode. We did this guy. Ooh, I think looks phenomenal. Now that I can just kind of like spin him around.
That is a classic Ronin, though.
Yeah. You're right. It's so good. Nice. So, okay. Got ran over by a reindeer. I'm going to click on this and say, awesome. There we go. All right. I feel like I want to put some paint on this other miniature here too, which again looks more like who the Shogun might be, but I do not know. As I have not yet played this game, I want to paint the miniatures and then play it. But I love, again, the comic book is what a great nod. All right. Come on, show us the other characters. Yikes. I'm not going to show that picture. It's super cool though. You got to get the game to see it all. All right. All right. Nope. Oh, but the one of the story arcs here is called Brothers in Arms, and it's that one with the flag banner and the Ronin scenario. That's kind of cool. Let's take a look at the cards real quick and see if there's one for the other miniatures so I can get a better look at some of the artwork here as references.
Let's go to the.
All right, so there's that one. All right. Just flip through real quick. The warrior. All right, so yeah. Oh wow, a lot of blue on that one and silvers. That's cool. Put the warrior out there, and I'll put the student. That's what they call that one. And we'll flip through more of the cards here. See if we can come across Any other artwork? So not the rest in that one. We got 2 more decks of cards here, so I feel like we'll get lucky. There we go. Got 8 viewers. We had up to 11, it looked like there for a second. That was cool. Crippling, hobble, stun. It's like rock, paper, scissors. I hobble you. I stun you. I wound you. I hobble you again. The master. That's cool. Okay.
Hobble beats stun every time.
Yes, hobble beats stun. Stun beats wound. And the Ronin you're right. The Ronin was the guy with the flag banner. That's wild.
Really? Now you're believing? Now we're believing. Seeing's believing.
I don't even believe the card.
Yep.
That's incorrect. I don't know why we've never won this game.
I can't believe that. All right, so a lot of blues and some reds and a little purple and gold. All right, cool. Let's do his hair real quick. Nice.
Can you tell what kind of flowers are on the jacket?
You can't based on this photo, which is unfortunate. So I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be blue for the undercloth, and then I'm gonna go back with maybe a pink and make them cherry blossoms.
I feel like we should have some hot tea while you're painting.
Right? Sitting here painting, drink some hot tea, and I'm like, But I would never subject people to that. You know how some sounds really can be irritating? Like my voice to some people is probably like, oh, I just want to stab him right in his larynx. There are sounds that when I hear them just irritate me to no end. Like when an animal is cleaning themselves, I hate it. Or when there's just
Like a
drop,
cat?
dog, I don't care. Yeah,
Like that licking noise?
Yes, it's disgusting. And it bothers me like to my core. Right?
The one that really gets me, it's like a nails on chalkboard situation. But
Yeah.
if someone like scratches a nylon backpack, like
Really?
it's like it drives me nuts for some reason.
Okay. Well, another one of mine that really irritates me is the sound of someone drinking fluids that is auditory. And you're going to do it just to, and they lick their lips.
That's so good.
I mean, I feel like that could, if I was subjected to it over a long period of time, I would go into a fit of rage. I would. I just would. There's a scene from Django Unchained where the bounty hunter guy, the British bounty hunter guy, that's like one of the main characters. Then he goes, "Well, why do you do it?" And he takes a drink, a sip of something, and he smacks his lip and he goes, "It's like a treat or whatever. I look at it like a treat." That scene, I want to reach through the freaking television and just throttle that individual because it's just it's a sound that gets me. I'm sure lots of people have these things, but
Oh yeah.
water dripping, pets clean themselves, and the sound of people who over accentuate their drinking of fluids.
There's some movie, I can't remember the guy's name. The guy's like drinking a cup of coffee and he does the slurping or whatever, and then the guy ends up, I can't remember if it was a guard guy in the prison or whatever, and the guy ends up killing him, and then he gets his coffee and drinks it and it makes the same noise afterward. Do you remember what movie this is?
Nope.
I'll find it.
It makes me think that any action that has the onomatopoeia of slurp is like you're allergic to.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just kind of weird because I know that it will drive me to like if you wanted to like torture me, put me in a room where water's dripping and a cat's cleaning itself and a dog's cleaning itself and someone's just gonna sit there and I mean it would drive me nuts. Like 15 minutes in and I'd be like, who do I need to tell all the information you need? and then throw in a rat. Good God.
When I worked at Denny's, one of the ladies there, if you ever banged like a fork or a spoon against your tooth,
Oh yeah.
even
that's
just
creepy.
once, she
Yeah.
would end up in a ball. She just could not handle that noise.
Yeah.
You're talking about Lenny's, right?
Lenny's?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
That was the old commercial. The one lady was like, "We're going to Denny's," and she's like, "Lenny's, Denny's." Anyways,
I
So
guess
anybody watching in the chat, if you have an auditory trigger that just throws you into rage, let us know because I'm going to use it against you in some future event. No, I'm just kidding.
you put that nylon backpack down, Rick. I see it.
Yeah, it can really be, once you find what those things are that are super annoying like that, they sometimes stick out. It's kind of like when you start thinking about, I want to buy a certain kind of car. And the next thing you know, you see them everywhere, right? It's like, ugh, no, I don't want to buy that car.
There's another car. I remember when I was growing up, my dad hated with the sound of our lips smacking when we were eating, right? And so, like around the table, you'd always have to turn the radio on or something. But then my mom was really into like Yanni at the time, so we had to listen to like Yanni live at the Acropolis. It's like the worst as a kid.
Oh, yeah, I could imagine turning up the music because that's the sound of someone who smacks their lips when they eat is the worst. It falls under my categories of like, you want to throw me into a fit of rage, do that thing. I try to be calm and patient, but oh my lord, so I can understand your dad's angst against listening to people smack their food.
I wonder if that's a common thing. It's a named thing.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a thing where it talks about those sounds, how certain sounds can just throw you into a fit.
Misophonia. It's the dislike of people smacking their lips.
Nice.
Makes you go to a fight or flight response.
Yep. And I don't flight. So I go into fight mode because I don't flight. Why? Because Rick don't run. And it's not because I can't run. It's because I can't run. I'm
Yeah,
a big heavy guy. I'm not a young, svelte military guy anymore.
the misophonia reminds me of one of my favorite soups, miso soup.
Oh,
That's a Japanese staple, right?
is it?
Yeah.
I know. I think miso soup is on a card on Sushi Go.
I mean, sushi, is majorly Japanese influence. I mean, other cultures do it as well, but I think sushi is the Japanese version.
What about ramen? And
Disgusting.
talk about some ramen all day long.
I can't.
Really?
No.
Have you had the good ramen? Like not just at a, not like the packets of ramen. Like
So I've had rice bowls over at Ruckus Ramen across the street from the game store, but when everybody's this is an episode of things Rick hates, and whenever someone says ramen, all I can think about is the brick noodle that you get in that package with the freaking high sodium flavor packet.
Oh, I'm not talking about a bowl of salt, my friend.
All right. I'm actually in that regard. Then I have never had traditional ramen.
it comes with like a pork broth. It's excellent. There's usually a soft-boiled egg in it.
Ooh, I do like eggs.
Yeah, but it's like a soft boil. It's really good.
Yeah, they got to take a blowtorch to it. It's crazy how they make those. And tanku is what you want because that's pork belly. That's top shelf ramen.
All right.
If you like spicy, they have a fire ramen or volcano ramen at certain places.
You know what? I don't. As a part of things that Rick don't like. And again, I like flavor and I can eat it. I just know my body and spicy food does not go well with my metabolism.
It'll be a different volcano ramen
Sure.
situation. That does have a little bit of corn in it as well, so heads up
Oh, there's always corn.
when the volcano happens.
Yeah, sure. Gross. Let's see. What else does Rick not like?
I'm excited for this ramen date we're going to go on.
You think we should do that? We should play this game, get ramen, like real ramen.
Come back, watch Princess Bride, and then all the episodes
No.
of Thunder the Barbarian.
We'll I mean, we always got to end it up with Thunder the Barbarian. But no, we could watch Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Yeah.
While we play it.
Up
All right.
until the Blue-Eyed Samurai part, my kids would want to be all in on that. They're crazy about all of those things.
Nice.
Up until you get arterial spray, and then they're less crazy about it. Oh yeah, heads up about Blue-Eyed Samurai, arterial spray.
Yeah, lots of blood.
It's like it was directed by Quentin Tarantino, huh?
Well, Quentin Tarantino, I think, took that certain aspect of blood spray, like from Kill Bill, out of anime and old. Because apparently,
For sure.
when they were shooting some of the older Japanese samurai movies, that was actually a mistake in an early like film where someone did something and it just did this weird, like the squib or whatever exploded in a like overly exaggerated way, and everybody was like, "That was awesome," and then they're like, "Yep, that's how we do it now." Like, what?
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the actor that was in the Kurosawa movies. Like he was Rashomon and he was in Seven Samurai, but he was always the Ronin character who always got the best arterial sprays.
I feel like that's Sho Kosugi.
Oh yes, that's got to be.
Because he was in everything. There's like, oddly, when it comes to like kung fu flicks, Jackie Chan is in a lot of early kung fu flicks, just as like a secondary or background character.
No, it was Toshiro Mifune or Mifune.
Toshiro?
Yeah,
Okay.
Toshiro Mifune. He was one of the main characters in pretty much everything Kurosawa did.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, Jackie Chan. He got hit in the face with a nunchuck by Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon.
And ouch.
I didn't know he was in Enter the Dragon.
In the scene where Bruce Lee is fighting all the mooks in the basement, he hits Jackie Chan in the face with a nunchuck, and Jackie falls into a pool of water.
Ouch.
And in the opening of the movie, when right after he has gets done with that opening fight, that fight is against Jackie Chan's older brother from the Chinese opera.
Wow.
And the backflips that he does after that are done by Jackie Chan's younger brother from the Chinese opera.
Okay.
No kidding.
That's wild.
Jackie Chan has a really good autobiography. You learn a lot of really cool stuff.
Okay. I mean, he's an amazing talent and ambassador for his culture. All right. And apparently, was it who? It's not Chris Rock. It's Chris Tucker. When he went over to China to see Jackie Chan once in an interview, he's talking about, "Yep, went over to see Jackie, and Jackie owns everything." You like this motel? It's my motel. You like this restaurant? It's my restaurant. Oh, okay.
So what's your favorite Jackie Chan super stunt?
I mean, there's so many. But one of the things I really enjoyed was the Forbidden Kingdom. I think I watched that just last week before he aired, and the fight between him and Jet Li is such a good fight. And just it's not that it's like super Jackie Chan stunt stuff where he's probably broke his leg or broke an ankle or a collarbone or something. It's just they're using the wires obviously in certain aspects of it. It just looked pretty, and it was nice. It was a good show, good representation of what fantasy kung fu movies can provide, which I thought was really cool. It is 820, 821. I just want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors. For everybody watching, if you have the opportunity, please hit the heart, hit the bell for Gen Con TV. If you're not actually subscribed to us yet, please do so. There's lots of great content here on Gen Con TV. And besides Path of the Brush, which is mediocre at best. uh, on my part, Will and Mark in the background make it amazing. But there's Actoroki, which comes up next after we're done, and then there's all the cool stuff on Friday with the news and some board game content. The Brothers Murph, Rem Alternus, and all the programs that they're doing, and Peter takes on the machine or whatever it is, the game of the week that he takes on Mondays. There's so much good stuff. So don't miss out on any of the content that's being created here at Gen Con TV. Also, give a follow if you can to Mats by Mars. They're the ones that make the mat here that I'm using, my little placemat, so I don't mess up my table. It's got my mascot on here, my little painting soldier, polar bear, and they make all sorts of cool game mats for all your wargaming needs. And also Game Envy, or the hobby holder. They make these nice hobby holders here. I'm not using it. I should be using it. I'm the worst. But I'm out of sticky tack, so I need to get more sticky tack. And they also are the ones that make the brushes that I use, and they make these really cool collapsible cups as well. So these collapse down, and you can have them as a transportable cup, and they clean real easily, and they have a nice little ridges on top to put your brushes down on, so you can not keep them in the water, because that's rule number one: don't leave your brushes in the water. And yeah, and they have all sorts of other cool accessories for painting. I think next week I'm going to actually use one that I brought back from PAX Unplugged. It's a dry brush palette, so it's really cool. I think it'll be fun to use that. And then also, who else we got? Army Painter, Tap, the Army Painter. They are our paint sponsor, the creators of Speed Paint 2.0, and they got a new line coming out next year called Fanatic, which I'm really excited to be able to play with. And I hope you guys are excited to get it for your paint toolbox as well. And everybody that has supported us this entire season, we have one more episode coming up next Wednesday. It's going to be a blast. I may be in costume. Is that what we're thinking for next week's episode?
We shouldn't spoil it, but perhaps you'll have some sort of a wonderful garb on. Yeah,
I like that garb. That's a good answer. So yeah, we're gonna just continue with the master here. I think I'm gonna put a lighter blue over top of this. I just need to find a better lighter blue because everything is so dark. I actually think I want to try Toxic Mist.
Toxic Mist.
Yes.
Don't breathe it in.
Yes. Always have a canary in case a toxic mist is there. So if canary die, get out. There we go.
Your bird's on the ground over here. Is that a good sign, or right as soon as you open that toxic mist?
Yep. Boom, boom. All right. And that's not good. I didn't get enough out.
Even though we've been talking about Jackie Chan and he's Chinese, and this should be strictly a Japanese episode. Yeah.
Thundar.
When he jumps to the helicopter, is it Super Cop 3? He jumps over to the helicopter. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's not a traditional Kung Fu movie.
Well, Super Cop.
Yes, I think it's Super Cop 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like on top of the building, and he jumps over. There's a ladder, or one of those like rope ladders hanging off and he jumps over to that thing. I think he got a concussion, like in some of the times he was doing it.
The worst injury he ever had was just like climbing out of a tree. He fell and hit his head on a rock and it nearly killed him.
God. Dang it, Jackie. You're a national treasure. Gotta stay safe.
If he would have had hand claws, this wouldn't have been an issue.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
He's been in so many. One of my favorites is Drunken Master. So good.
Peak Jackie, like literally. That's at the very peak of his game.
Yeah. And he was like 70 when he was doing that.
Wasn't he in the original Drunken Master too?
He was. It was not nearly as good as
No.
Mhm. One of the things I enjoyed about that particular release when it came out is that was right around when 3.5 or 3.0 Dungeons and Dragons hit the market, and the monk was super popular, and they had their own like monk. It was like a complete guide to monk or martial classes, and they had a drunken master character archetype in that book. It was so good. But the one I liked is there's a character in Drunken Master that when they're fighting in like this like refinery where there's like coal, right? And the guy had chains, right? He's a chain master, and he wraps them around his arms, and he's like punching with the chains and stuff, and he was whipping them out and stuff. They also made a chain master archetype for Dungeons and Dragons, and I played the crap out of that character.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's like, yep, they made it just in time. And Drunken Master, the movie, really got me like, I gotta do this character type. It's in a book. Ah, so good.
that is one of his best choreographed fight scenes ever. That, and I think the one at the end of Who Am I is really, really good, where he's on top of that building and then he slides down the building.
Mm. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, it's just brilliance, right? And the fact that he did almost all of his stunts coming up, just so it was more realistic. So
They got one where he's like actually in real coals. Have you seen this
That
one?
was, yeah, that's Drunken Master. He was legitimately on fire for that.
Yeah, I think he was probably had the burn gel stuff all over. So you anti-burn gel rather.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm watching the reels. There's like on YouTube top 10 greatest Jackie Chan stunts.
Rumble in the Bronx, isn't that the one where he slid down that big, that
fire escape.
not this fire escape, but down a giant banner that's covered in light bulbs?
No, that's one of the rush hours. Yeah.
Yeah, he burned all the skin off his hands in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang it, Jackie. Didn't we warn you? You gotta be careful, man. So funny. I like this like light blue contrast to the dark blue, or it's compared to what the master's artwork looks like here, where it's dark blue, and gold. I don't know. I just like it.
Can you get that close to the camera?
Yeah, I can show you. Like, there's the card, and there's what I'm doing.
Oh, I like that.
That looks
Yeah.
good.
And then where these little raises are little flowers, blossoms. So I'm going to do pink for the cherry blossoms on that. I think that look neat.
He's got just a regular sandal on.
Yeah, just like the other character, just those weird flat sandals with the one piece of wood on, or
The guitar.
the kita. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna cut it close. Cut it, I think, short today. A few minutes short. It's 8:30. For everybody watching, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming out, joining us, being a part of our community as you allow us to be a part of yours. And we hope that you are finding your path in painting by picking up that brush and going to work on some awesome miniatures. And we'd love for you to share them with us. If you are so inclined, please send us some of your photos to geektographyyusa@gmail.com. And if you do, maybe we'll show them here on the show, especially next season. We have one more episode next Wednesday, so stay tuned. That'll be our final episode for season 2, and we'll be coming back in January for season 3, sometime in Januwe're gonna all sit around in the campfire and discuss all that. But we'll put out some announcements and let y'all know. Until next time, go to your friendly local game store, grab some paint. Lick the brush is fine, but don't eat the paint. I'm Rick. We'll see you later.